Coming up this morning, a gas line explosion in San Francisco sparks a massive fire. And Letcher County mourns the loss of a dedicated Jenkins City Council member. Plus, Knox County police are warning about people about a scam, a Social Security phone call.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on Thursday, February the 7th. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Before we came up, Brandon looked at me and said, we are in for a gully washer here in the next couple of minutes. So what a perfect way to send it over to him as he kind of explains what was originally a severe thunderstorm warning is now just turned into a line that's packing a ton of rain and some heavy winds.
Exactly, and it's moving fast too. Let's show you some cameras right fast before we get to Doppler, because kind of give you an idea of what current conditions are like in most areas. Been raining for most of the night, off and on in a lot of areas. You can see up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain on US 119. The raindrops falling on the camera outside the WYMT studios here in Hazard. We're going to continue to watch that rain pool in and seeing a little bit of fog here across our region this morning. Live pinpoint Doppler radar, there's that line. It still extends all the way down toward McCreary County this morning, going through parts of southern Kentucky. So Williamsburg getting some pretty good rain right now. Barberville getting some pretty good rain right now. Back over through Manchester. And as we zoom in here, you'll see Hyden getting in on the rain right now, or getting in the next couple of minutes, probably seeing the wind pick up. And then in Hazard here in the next half hour or so. So again, just be ready for that. We are tracking one active warning. That's a flood warning down into parts of East Tennessee, Claiborne and Campbell counties, going through 8:30 this morning. And that flood watch continues for all until noon. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, you can you hear a little bit of thunder outside the studio right now. Well, three of the top Democrats in Virginia are battling for their political survival. It started a week ago when Virginia Governor Ralph Northam admitted he once wore blackface, and now the state's Attorney General, Mark Herring, revealed he did the same. Herring said he and his friends dressed as rappers at a college party in 1980. Now, a growing number of Virginians are fed up.
Because whether you did it in the past or you did it now, it shouldn't have been done in the first place.
And at what point do we say, okay, let's move forward?
Now, just hours later after Herring's admission, a woman accusing Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax of sexual assault put out a detailed statement of her claim. Vanessa Tyson says at the 2004 Democratic National Convention, what began as consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Meanwhile, firefighters put out a massive blaze caused by a gas line explosion in San Francisco. It took them 2 hours to extinguish the flames that were shooting at least 2 stories high at one point. 5 nearby buildings were seriously damaged in Wednesday's blaze, but there are no reports of anyone missing or being injured. The fire started after workers hit a gas line while installing fiber optic lines.
This is a complex situation. Beneath us, subsurface, is a complex web of utilities. Multiple gas lines ranging from 2 inches to 12 inches. You also have water, perhaps fiber optics. You also have electric. So it is not as simple as just digging right in and isolating a valve or pinching off a gas line. You have to go slow. This was a third-party incident. It's referred to as a third-party dig-in. The individuals were not affiliated with PG in any way.
Firefighters evacuated everyone within a block's radius while they were battling the blaze. Well, since 2016, developers in the city of Jenkins have been working to bring Raven Rock Casino Resort to an overlook on Pine Mountain. Now they must wait for lawmakers to make a decision on the gambling expansion bill before any further steps are taken. Developers tell WYMT's Taylor Upchurch the casino could be a magic bullet leading the city to tax revenue and a better pension fund.
Pine Mountain, a potential new home for Raven Rock Casino Resort.
We want to be the first ones to start breaking ground on a resort casino.
Jenkins City officials and developers say Virginia, too, sees benefits a casino can have on pension and tax revenue. For this dream to become reality, Kentucky state lawmakers would have to reconsider the ban on gambling.
Horse racing's been a part of Kentucky for over 100 years. It should be a natural progression for the state legislators to passed the expanded gaming law bill.
Mayor Todd DePriest says the words casino and gambling often make people think of organized crime.
For those who have
Governor Matt Bevin is one who disagrees with casino-style betting.
You know, it's nothing like that anymore. It's an entertainment industry. It's well regulated.
An industry potentially creating nearly 1,000 jobs with an average pay of $50,000, giving people with or without a degree an opportunity.
From valet parking to housekeeping, custodians, and a broad range, all the way up to higher management.
Raven Rock Entertainment CEO James Hibbett says this 300-room hotel could create a better working environment.
It's not a magic bullet per se, but it's as close to a magic bullet as we can get.
Hoping to partner with the state for growth. In Letcher County, Taylor Upchurch, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, developers say the casino and hotel's gaming floor is projected to be 50 to 60,000 feet. They plan to include an auditorium for musical entertainment as well as an adventure park. Well, Letcher County mourns the loss of Rebecca Terrell Ambergy, who served under several mayors as a Jenkins City Council member and dedicated nearly 40 years to Mountain Comprehensive Health Corporation in Whitesburg. Ambergy died in January due to illness. Her close friend, Ernestine Hill, says her main concern was always the people and the growth of the city. Because of what Hill describes as an irreplaceable friendship, she was asked to take her best friend's place on City Council. Hill says she accepted the offer, hoping to live out Ambergy's legacy.
And I considered it, and then I walked away from it, and then I thought, no, she would want me to do this, you know, and continue what she has worked for so long. And so I'm looking forward to being a part of the city.
Hill says she plans to serve in Ambergy's place just as she did for several years with her city's best interest at heart. Well, people in Knox County are getting scam calls for Social Security. Sheriff Mike Smith says the callers are pretending to be with Social Security offices in the region and using local area codes to seem realistic.
Don't give out any personal information. Social Security Administration is not going to ask for their Social Security number. They already know it.
Now, Smith advises anyone getting these calls to inform their local police and Social Security offices. Well, a University of Kentucky student has been indicted in the death of a 4-year-old boy. Our media partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader report 18-year-old Jacob Heel now faces a reckless homicide charge. Police say Heel was under the influence when he hit Marco Shemwell at a UK football game back in December. Meanwhile, a police officer who mistakenly shot and killed a man at an Alabama mall will not be charged. E.J. Bradford Jr. was killed Thanksgiving night. A warning, some viewers may find the following footage disturbing. Newly released surveillance video from the Alabama mall shows the moment shoppers scatter at the sound of gunshots. Bradford is then seen running toward the direction of the gunfire, holding a licensed handgun of his own. A moment later, from behind Bradford, a responding Hoover police officer shoots and kills him, believing he is the suspect responsible. According to the Attorney General, Bradford's family says he was trying to protect those around him.
You've watched the video?
Oh, what? I didn't like it because it's murder. My son was going back to help his friend.
A 24-page report released by Alabama's Attorney General concludes the unnamed officer who shot Bradford reasonably exercised his official duties during the 3-second encounter. The Bradford family's attorney plans to file a civil suit against the city of Hoover. Well, at least 10 states are reporting cases of measles across the nation, and leading health officials are stressing the importance of getting vaccinated. Meredith Wood has more in today's Health Minute.
Americans who are unvaccinated put themselves, their families, and their communities at risk.
Immunization against some of the most contagious diseases should start at birth, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
And as soon as a child is born, in their first visit to a pediatrician, a mom should be talking to the doctor about the vaccine schedule.
The MMR vaccine protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, and the DTaP vaccine covers diphtheria, tetanus, and whooping cough. Kids can also start getting the flu vaccine at 6 months of age. And the CDC says pregnant women should get vaccines for the flu and whooping cough.
There are vaccines that they can get while pregnant that will protect themselves as well as their children.
Health officials also say when it comes to vaccines, not to believe anti-vaccine propaganda you might see on the internet.
Some of it actually looks almost scientific, and the misinformation about the disease and the vaccine are leading some folks to not vaccinate themselves or their children.
When it comes to combating preventative diseases, the CDC says there are no alternatives to vaccination, and the risk of a bad reaction are almost non-existent.
Vaccines that are recommended in the United States are extensively studied. That's why I can say that we have the safest immunization schedule that we've ever had, and that it's the safest immunization schedule in the world.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
All righty, your time is 6:40. Let's check in on Brandon and see what he's working with over in the Weather Center.
Yeah, we're continuing to track a lot of rain, and you can see on the hazard camera it's starting to get closer to our area. Fog trying to build in, and it's a little bit of wet roads out there this morning. Whitesburg, going to see it here in the looks a little bit, so again, wet roads there as well. Take a look at the last 6 hours, and just wave after wave of rain coming through here. There's the one we're talking about coming into a lot of areas, and I'll track those areas out for you by area here in a little bit. But you see the flood watch continues until noon today for most of eastern and southern Kentucky. Visibility pretty rough this morning, and getting a little worse in areas of heavy rain, and temperatures mild. Enjoy them because they won't last, especially as we head toward this time tomorrow morning. Will?
All righty, we will have stories trending on WYMT.com next. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Still to come, some of the world's largest animals are facing extinction because people won't stop eating them. And scientists say humans are to blame for making last year and almost every year before it the hottest year on record.